Eclipse Towers, Apartment 9. Tucked into the fictional neighborhood of Rockford Hills in Los Santos, this apartment sits at the entry point of the Eclipse Towers lineup, priced at $373,000. It comes with a 10-car garage and a polished interior that signals a step up from ordinary city living. For a game built around criminal ambition, owning even the cheapest unit in this building marks the moment a player stops scraping by and starts building something bigger. Eclipse Towers, Apartment 5. Just above Apartment 9 in price, this unit costs $382,000 and shares the same tower, the same skyline, and much of the same layout. The difference is subtle, mostly cosmetic touches and slightly better positioning within the building. It reflects how, even in fiction, luxury real estate often sells small variations at real price gaps, letting buyers pay more simply to feel slightly closer to the top. Eclipse Towers, Apartment 31. At $400,000, this apartment rounds out the standard tier of the tower. It was once considered the most desirable non-penthouse unit available, prized for its view and its location within the structure. Like the units below it, it includes vehicle storage and the same refined interior design, but the higher floor placement adds a sense of exclusivity that buyers were willing to pay extra for. Eclipse Towers, Penthouse Suite 1. Here the price jumps sharply to $985,000. Crossing into penthouse territory. This unit represents a different class of ownership altogether, no longer just an apartment, but a statement piece. The building itself draws inspiration from real luxury condominiums in Los Angeles, and this suite mirrors the kind of listing that would draw attention from wealthy buyers in real life. Eclipse Towers, Penthouse Suite 3. The most expensive residential unit in the tower, this penthouse sells for $1,100,000. It sits at the very top of the building, offering sweeping views and interior finishes meant to feel untouchable. Within the fictional world it inhabits, owning this suite functions as a kind of arrival, the clearest signal that a character has moved beyond survival and into excess. Kosatka Submarine HQ base model. Moving away from apartments entirely, this property costs $2,200,000 in its starting form. It is not a home in the traditional sense, but a fully operational submarine that doubles as a mobile headquarters. Acquiring it requires stepping into a much larger criminal operation, and its presence in the story reflects a shift from personal luxury toward strategic power. Executive Office, Lombank West. Priced at $3,100,000, this office building is less about comfort and more about control. It includes a 20-vehicle garage and unlocks access to executive-level operations within the game's criminal economy. Buying this property is less like purchasing a home and more like opening a business, one built entirely around influence and logistics. Fort Zancudo Hangar. This property costs $3,250,000 and grants something money alone usually cannot buy: close proximity to a heavily guarded military base. The hangar itself is functional rather than glamorous, built for storing aircraft and running smuggling operations. Its value comes almost entirely from location, since few properties in the game sit this close to restricted territory. Cypress Warehouse. At $3,265,000, this warehouse edges slightly past the hangar in price. It exists purely as an operational asset, offering storage and logistics support for large-scale criminal activity. There is nothing residential about it, and that absence of comfort is part of the point, since its worth lies entirely in what it enables, rather than how it looks. Terabyte. Fully upgraded. Reaching up to $3,500,000, this is not a building at all, but a heavily modified truck that functions as a mobile command center. It can be customized with surveillance equipment, weapons, and communication systems, turning it into a headquarters that moves with its owner. In a fictional world built on constant motion, this vehicle answers the question of what happens when someone needs power without a fixed address. Kosatka Submarine HQ, fully upgraded. Once every available upgrade is added, this same submarine climbs to $9,085,000. Guided missiles, sonar systems, and a full weapons workshop transform it from a simple headquarters into one of the most heavily equipped assets in the game. The gap between its base price and this final number shows how quickly cost escalates once function turns into full military capability. Galaxy Superyacht. Sitting at the very top of the list, this yacht does not have one fixed price, since its cost shifts depending on size and customization, generally landing somewhere in the tens of millions. It represents the furthest point of fictional excess, a floating estate complete with living quarters, entertainment space, and crew. Unlike every other property on this list, its value is not measured by what it does, but by the sheer scale of what it displays.